This is my model red, and what we're going to be doing today is a shape which is a variation on a short graduated bob. We're going to be working very tight through the front area and very short and tight in the back. Now what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be working with a pointing technique to cut the line in the front area, then elevate the hair to graduate it. So it's a progression from your basic techniques of cutting straight lines with your scissors like this. We're now going to be working in this fashion. So the great thing about this short graduated shape is when we work on the hair is we're going to be working very strong in the cheekbone area, so it's going to give a very strong look to red. One of the great successes of doing this shape by working one side and the opposite side at the same time is that you immediately balance the haircut. In this way it gives your client confidence and it gives you confidence. One thing we need to check on when we're doing this haircut is the hairline in the back. Even though we're going to be coming in very short in this back area, we need to check the hairlines. As you can see, Red's hair grows in towards the centre and stands proud a little bit in this area. So we need to be careful of this. So even though we're going to go down tight, we'll just have to be a little bit watchful of that area. The sections will progressively move across the head and crisscross shape it in the back, and then we eliminate the weight to get this tighter. So this is going to be a short graduated bob. So this is the sectioning pattern for the short graduated bob. As you can see, we work with a classic horseshoe section running all the way around to the back. So the section works in a curve all the way through the back. Just watch for the hair growth patterns. You can see the hair kicks across to the left very slightly, so we have to pay attention to that when we're actually cutting the hair. But I've sectioned the hair enough to try and get the hair even all the way through those areas. So, as we mentioned before on some of our other videos, is just measure on the ears to get the right balance to the shape. But it works better if you do have a mirror, because this way you can balance the shape more correctly. So the front sections will be working slightly diagonal like this. This way I can see the whole of my line all the way through here. I work in this fashion, just up to the join of the ear, not beyond it, just to this point here. Then I'm going to work in the back area with sections which run down and across the head in this way. So that is all you need to do with the sectioning for the graduated bob.
Stacey takes a diagonal section in the front hairline and point cuts a line below the cheekbone that runs to the mid-ear using his comb as a guide. Stacey then checks this section in his fingers using a pointing technique to refine. Notice Stacey's longest point is in the front of the section, framing the face. Stacey then takes a parallel section and combs it over his initial section. Then he takes away the small area behind the ear. He cuts this section on the skin, using his underneath as a guide. Stacey then elevates this second section to refine, placing a fraction of graduation throughout the outline. Stacey continues with parallel diagonal sections, removing the hair around the ear from each section. This will ensure sufficient weight behind the ear. Stacey repeats this process on his second side. Stacey repeats this process on his second side. Stacey then resections his second side area and continues into the nape, using the front as a guide and a small amount of elevation. He angles his fingers to create a tighter graduated shape. It is important that the fingers do not run flat to the head, but angle towards the nape to maximise the length over the ear and to enhance the head shape throughout the nape. Stacey continues with parallel sections to the centre back. Stacey then cross-checks his work in the opposite direction. Stacey then repeats this process on the second side. Stacey then cross-checks his work in the opposite direction. Having completed both side areas, Stacey checks through his centre back, refining his round head shape. Stacey then refines his outline perimeter, using freehand techniques to softly blend, mindful of the natural growth patterns. Next, Stacey brings down the top area. He creates a diagonal section across the head from off-centre front to just in front of the ear. Using the underneath sections as a guide, elevation, over direction and angling his fingers from long to short, he cuts a line, maintaining his length through the perimeter. Stacey then continues with parallel sections, applying the same process, careful to maintain length. He's not rounding this section, but creating a triangle of length. Stacey works these sections over the crown. Stacey repeats this process on the second side. Using freehand techniques, Stacey refines the longer areas through the front.
So this is the completed shape. This is my short graduated bob. Obviously it's been rounded off a tiny bit on the inside to make it a little bit more modern. Rather than sitting like a mushroom, it just flattens the hair a little bit and lets the hair have a little bit more movement. As you can see, the hair is very versatile in wearing it either side. So you don't have to stick to working with just one side parting. You can move the hair in different ways. One thing you can see is the soft graduation that runs through the sides and into the back. So the external shape is here, the internal shape runs through here, so it gives you the graduated bob feel, making this sitting nice and tight, pushing the hair forwards. This way it gives you this great lift in the hair. This is just natural volume. And it just gives you a beautiful fluidity to the shape. The great thing about doing a short graduated bob from the front to the back is that you immediately have your base, you have your foundation in the front, so you have your line in through here. Then when you take your graduation through to the inside and through to the back, you've automatically got your shape. If you over-direct too high, obviously you're going to go too short. So in the beginning, you keep your shape much heavier. By keeping it heavier, you can always reduce that weight, and it just makes the shape much easier to achieve because it gives you confidence with having this shape in the front first and then moving into the back. With the internal shape, to connect the horseshoe section through the inside, it's connected the same on both sides, so rounding the shape out this tiny bit. This way it gives a little bit more fluidity to the shape. So you over-direct the hair out and round the shape off, but you're still keeping this angle running all the way through the shape. So you get a beautiful softness to it. And this just releases the hair, so we can play around with the hair, dress the hair in different ways and wear it a little bit more scruffy, or push the hair around and dress the hair behind the ears and get different sort of looks. It just makes the whole thing just that little bit more modern. And I always believe a basic haircut should be modern.
A soft blend of rounded graduation contrasted with triangles of versatile length and even weight running throughout the perimeter, maximising head shape and movement.